Good evening, everyone. We're going to start the meeting. Sorry for the delay. Would you please join us for the pledge? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice. Okay, our moving to item number 4 is correspondence. We don't have anything, I don't believe. Moving to item 5 is public comment session for items that are on tonight's agenda. We don't have anyone signed up. Item 6 is presentations and guests. We have 3 items tonight, and the first one is going to be the 3D printing presentation by Mrs. Melanie Menke and Mrs. Maureen Winter. Welcome.
Good evening, everyone. Tonight, I'm excited to share a glimpse into our second grade 3D printing after-school STEAM club, where our young learners are having a blast with hands-on creative projects using 3Doodler pens. These pens allow the students to bring their imaginations to life, creating unique designs inspired by what they're learning in class. A big part of our focus is on developing creativity and fine motor skills. The 3Doodler pens help them trace shapes and structures, building their dexterity and encouraging them to experiment with their ideas. We also use stencils, which help guide their tracing and understand how to shape their 3D creations. One of the standout projects is our butterfly sculptures. Students explore both art and science by sculpting butterflies, which tie into their studies of the butterfly life cycle and metamorphosis. This project introduces them to 3D art forms and gives them a deeper understanding of how to create 3 dimensions, a skill they'll continue to build on for future projects. We also dive into some fun with tangrams, a classic puzzle game that blends math and art. By completing tangram sets, the students strengthen their spatial reasoning, problem solving, and artistic skills. This project not only builds their confidence in designing with 3D shapes, but also how math and creativity come together. And to cap it off, our students even built a 3D STEAM city, as you can see in the pictures here, where they discussed engineering, virtual design, and material choices before starting their builds. They learned how these concepts fit into the real world and how important it is to think through each stage of a project. What makes 3D printing so special in our club is how it transforms learning. Students don't just learn by reading or listening, they get to touch, create, and experiment. It helps them pay attention to the details, sparks their creativity, and lets them see the tangible results of their hard work. This club has truly been an exciting journey of learning by doing, and we can't wait to see how these young minds continue to explore and innovate through the world of 3D printing. Just to let you know, a little fact is that the last 2 sessions of this club, we've had to run 2 sessions because there's been so much interest by students and parents to participate. So both myself and Miss Winter both lead the club after school, 2 different days a week. I would now like to introduce Miss Winter and students. We have Eddie Bonnell, Grace Harb, we have Matthew Berkey, Tessa Winter, Evelyn Winter. Nope. Oh, there's Evelyn. And they're going to lead you in a demonstration with the 3Doodler pen.
Thanks so much, everyone. So we have an amazing bunch of helpers tonight. You guys are going to have a blast. You guys are also going to make some really fun things. And our 5 helpers, they're going to step in and they're going to do what our student helper, our high school student helper, does for them, and they're going to help you along the way. So the first thing they're going to do is they're going to pass out these folders. What's in these folders are what you'll need to start creating the project. Some of the resources that I provided for students in the second grade. I collaborated with one of the second grade teachers so that it was connected to the curriculum. And you'll notice that each letter is highlighted. So you'll know if it's art and engineering, art and science, art and math, depending upon what we did, just so you can see what was happening. You also will get a little gift made by Tri-Valley students so that you'll just have a little gift to take with you. And these helpers are going to help you. So can you pass out two, please? Mr. Bonell, thank you. You pass out two. Thank you. Thank you. And can you do three? Can I talk to you? Thank you. Yep, it's
Is
in.
that you?
So the next thing you're going to get is a 3D pen. And our kids are going to pass those out. Can you give two? Mr. Biebenrock doesn't have?
Thank you.
A folder? Oh, we actually have one. No, we have one. Okay. Okay.
Thank you.
Oh, you do have one? You're good? Okay, great. No worries. So what we're going to be making tonight is we're going to be making a spring flower because I don't know about you, but all these kids are dying to get outside and see some spring flowers, and so do us. So we're going to make this three-dimensional spring flower. It's a great little learning tool. So kids, the first thing we always tell the kids, and we'll tell you too, is that not all 3D pens are created equal. Some will burn you, okay? These will not, okay? So don't treat any 3D pen the way you'll treat these. These will not burn you, but a lot of them will, okay? So the first thing you'll do is just get it ready. You'll turn it on, and it'll go from red to green, right, kiddos? Yeah. And then the next thing we're gonna need to ask our board members is to please make sure they have this out, okay? And we're gonna do this flower right here because that's gonna be the fastest one. This flower we're gonna do. This one. Green in a second. This one.
I'm going to allow you to show me how to do this. Okay,
Now,
you're my personal
I
guy
need
here.
some kiddos to give out some. Can you please make sure everyone has a green? And then, let's see, can you give out a couple whites? A couple whites.
I think this is,
Okay, can you give out a couple yellows? Whoops. And a couple yellows, just a couple. Okay,
I think this is like.
just a
like
couple.
glue stick.
Two is fine. It's okay.
Yeah, this is, I
You
think,
can always have more.
oh, we have a green one too.
Yeah, you can start. That's no.
Oh, okay.
You'll see later.
Thank you.
Okay,
Green
thanks
one.
so much, kiddos. This is second grade and one first grader. So they're all up past their bedtime and they are doing a fantastic job. Oh, thank you so much.
How many do I need? Just one?
All right. So
Oh,
now the most important thing, I'm going to come out to you.
Which one?
I have this example here. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to do this little outline.
Going to
And we're going
learn
to
the
start in the
outline of
center.
Okay,
and
And
then
we
you
hold our
show
pen
me
just like
exactly how
regular
you do
pen.
it.
Okay, just like a regular pen. And you're going to fill in, oh, mine's blue, that's okay, yours will be yellow.
On this.
You're going to fill in the center first and fill it in nice. And if you made a mistake, you started, you got a little excited, that's okay, just pick it right off the plastic. Okay, oh, just pick it right off the plastic, sorry. I'm a hands-on moving teacher. So we are filling in the center. See that? Oh, my little kiddos, you know what to do. Help them out. Help them out. Okay. So we're filling in the circle first with yellow. All you do is fill in the middle. If it gets a little wild, push it down. The orange button starts and stops, okay?
Hold on, I have one here. Robbie, sometimes they're a little finicky. Yeah, you have to.
Mommy knows.
No, I'm testing him. He's doing an absolute good job.
Just needs a second.
Evelyn, want to switch with me?
There you go. You're all set. All right. And then after you do the center, you're going to go around the outline of the flower.
Okay.
You mean the petals? The petals, yep. With the yellow. Okay.
What would you bring?
Yours can be a little different. You can have yellow flowers. That's fine. That's fine. You run with it. That's fine.
So what color are you going to use now?
Not yet. Not yet. Ladies and gentlemen, I will give you all the steps.
Where did you put that stick in?
Push it at the end for a refill.
Yeah, you guys are doing excellent.
Oh, you're pro already. We call that art cheating, Mr.
Oh,
Dean.
no, he's a professional
He
here.
is a professional, but you gotta do your own, sir.
I know.
He did a good job.
I didn't chase it out. You did.
All right, here, give Mr. Dean one try.
No,
Oh, he's just gonna do it. All right, all right.
he's a professional.
Okay, so, ladies and gentlemen, once you fill in your flowers, oh, we got our kiddo helpers. Oh, you do need some help, okay?
Wait, it's not coming out.
I'm going to be honest, ladies and gentlemen. I thought you were going to wait for me to give the directions. You got so into it. I'm so excited that you jumped the gun.
The top.
And the faster it goes, is that how it works? The faster the stuff comes out, or it goes at one speed?
How's that?
It goes out.
It's fine. Let him fill. Yeah, it's fine.
But
If you want to switch colors and add some white, go for it. But the green is your stem.
Getting 100 so far. See? Is that a good idea?
Well, so I think we want white for the
Give you
middle.
100.
We were doing. You just do whatever you want, but the white we thought was going to be for the petals.
Yeah, can you change them?
You cannot. You got to just. Yeah, you got to burn through it.
All
Yeah.
right.
I took a stick. Steel. It's similar to this.
Does he need a little switch? Oh,
You're welcome to put me there.
was it giving him the trouble?
I don't know. I think it ran out.
Oh, so it has to kind of catch and then remelt.
You know Sammy?
Here you go.
I see. So you gotta force it in.
second grade.
My grandson.
Okay. That's fine.
Sam.
And
You look like
boys and
almost like
boys and
Sam.
girls. Ladies and gentlemen, sorry. Ladies and gentlemen,
Yeah, Mia and
let me grab the green and then I can show you.
I'm Sam's best friend.
That's right. I've heard that. Yeah.
So you would have to drain out the whole yellow, which could be time consuming, but
Show Sam
like
what you did.
if you were to switch, yeah.
Yep, you can fill it in however you'd like.
Try.
Yep,
It doesn't
fill it in.
after that, or does, if it gets wet, it doesn't go anyplace.
Yeah, if it gets wet, but it has to dry first.
That's right. And then you're
Once
fine.
you have your flour, it looks like Mr. Kelly has finished his flour.
Much to it or anything.
So then,
There's nothing in there that
when you're ready, you're going to put a large amount of plastic on the back of the flower and then just stick the stem into it, okay? And kind of pinch it.
But you have to keep the pen on the paper when you
Just gotta keep it right there. You can't keep it a distance.
Okay. So, Mr. Kelly.
It's just
Rip it
almost
off like a
regular
Band-Aid.
pencil then. You just gotta keep.
Oh, it's just a little warm, so
You don't push the trigger down.
So when you're ready, just put a big dollop of
pause it,
plastic
you
and
just
then
push
stick
it
the
down.
Stick it
stem
in while
in
it's still like,
and then pinch.
Oh,
do you want me to
push
peel it
the
off?
pin.
Oh, you got it. You got it.
So big
You
dollop
don't
of
push
plastic
this at all.
and then
Oh, you
pinch.
push this.
Yeah,
And then
to
when you're all
hold
done,
Oh,
big dollop of
okay.
plastic.
So you know what, my flour is.
How do you do this? All the time?
Not anymore. Well, I do it, but my 3D pen is dead.
Am I doing this right over here?
I'm trying to at least. No, I can't just take it out. It's hard.
Actually, you have to finish it out, right? You have to empty it.
Wait. You can use other sticks and make it. Yeah, but I need another. Wait, I need another stem. I'm getting another stem.
Big dollop of plastic.
Mommy, I thought you know I had to do this.
It's a big block.
So you're gonna want
And
to
you're just gonna
focus
No.
on finishing the one and then putting a stem on it.
stick between the stem.
Mr. Dean, okay? So you're gonna
Yes.
pick which one you want to do the stem for.
Yeah.
Now, you can put another stem before the other one's done? Is it still gonna be yellow? So you gotta run it out, right? You can't put another one in until the other one runs out. Right?
That looks almost the same as mine.
Doing a good job. He's teaching you. He's a good teacher. You should be. Now, what is that?
It's a Trevally magnet.
Magnet, yes.
Magnet, huh? Now, you didn't finish here yet.
These?
You're not gonna do half a job now. You gotta do full job.
Thank you, Mr. Dean.
You're doing a good job.
I know.
I think he enjoys it.
These I do need for my program. But you guys can
So now the white's starting to come out, right? So you fill in the middle with the white, huh? That's a pretty flower. And you have to pat it down like that,
You don't have to.
but that makes it go.
And mommy doesn't know how to actually do it. She told me you can't pat it down.
Well, let me tell you, you're gonna have to teach it, right? Us men have to stick together, huh? Now you show her how nice this is. And that's how you're supposed to do it.
We're going to fill this one in with the white.
Great. Now, why is there a number 6 on it? Because she keeps track of how many, your teacher keeps track of how many she has? Oh, well, you're supposed to know this. Ask the question.
I don't know why.
That's what life is about, asking all kinds of questions. Then you get ahead. When you have a question, you're not sure of something, you ask. Sammy's always asking questions.
You went to the basketball game yesterday.
And I know, you were there. I saw you. Sammy was there too.
Mommy, can you help me peel this off?
Now, why do you want to peel it off?
This is going to be.
It takes fingernails to pull it off. See? You don't have fingernails. I'll give you something to do it with, but it's not allowed in school.
Probably not here.
Wait, what is
I might get turned in.
Oh, look at this. All right, go put a big dollop in there.
Can I have that?
Give them to your wife.
I think you should give it to his mom. To go along with the picture he was taking.
No.
Here we go.
Well, that's what's nice about that. If you make a mistake, you can just take it and do something else with it, right?
Okay.
He does a pretty good job, doesn't he? Looks pretty good. Pretty good flower, isn't it?
She's barely 3D printing because she did have like a.
How come Sammy's not here tonight? He didn't want to do it?
I don't know.
Oh, he wasn't in school. He was in school? I don't think so. Now, does that stuff get like concrete real hard?
Well, it's hard to take off.
Almost like bubble gum.
But once it's not dry, yeah, bubble.
Yeah, mine looks tired.
But you can't chew it, right?
Oh wow, look at that! And I did have to.
Thank you.
I know it's not that big.
Such a good help. Sure.
Now, when the teacher comes, you're going to smile and take a pic. Look at it.
Doing a great
He's doing a great job. Did you
Oh, did you already make one?
Did you get a picture of us?
Can you hold up your flower and I can get a picture of you two together?
He's gonna.
Taking credit for the Berkey Kids flower. All right, get in there. Beautiful. All right, can you help clean up? Can you help clean that stuff up?
Why? We still have one more.
I know, but I think we're wrapping it up. We've got business to attend to.
Wait, when we go home, can we have ice cream?
Talk to your dad. Talk to your dad. Yes. All right, help.
Bum, bum,
He's
bum.
trying to negotiate with you. Where did he learn that from? I wonder.
Did I?
Sounds like Sammy. Hey, bud. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. You did a good job. You did a very good job.
Yeah, so it's dead, Mommy. My 3D pen's dead. And then,
Thank you,
Now, how do you charge them? Is there a battery in them?
no.
No? Do you plug them in? Do you plug the machine in that does it?
No, you use a cord and.
And get
Oh. Mommy, don't forget the thing in.
Well, this is mine too. Yeah, I think it is, isn't it? Am I supposed to, we supposed to keep these? No. Oh, yeah, see? You're an Indian giver.
What?
You're not staying for this.
What? No, I can't. Where's the garbage? Wait, that turns the lights on.
It does. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. We really hope you had a good time, and our student helpers, they just had a blast. So we hope you enjoyed a little bit of our world. Thanks again for having us, and have a great night.
Thank you for that.
Real remedial. Hold on.
Okay, our next item is going to be item 6B is the budget presentation, the administrative component. Mr. Richard Biebenroth.
About fair. Good evening. We're going to talk a little bit about the budget administrative component tonight. We still have a lot of unknowns. There's even more unknowns. The governor had proposed age budgets. Now the Assembly and the State Senate are looking at changing for the better, hopefully, but you never know how that's going to go. It's all a negotiation. So we're going to have higher foundation aid rates, which we're hoping for. Also rates for the CTE. There's also going to be possibly some more E&L money. It's really hard to predict what they're going to give us. So we're waiting on that. Cell phone policy, which will get talked a little bit, but that could be a cost to the district. That's not an administrative cost, but that could be a significant cost. There might be aid tied to that. It's just a lot of unknowns. And then clearly there's a lot of unknowns with federal funding, you know, what's going to happen, if there's going to be major changes or not. Just a lot of that. So when we look at the administrative budget component, it's moved to 5 parts. So it's the salary and benefits for all school administrators and their staff that directly supports them. So sometimes the number looks a lot higher, but it's all the building administrators, it's everybody in the central office. So it includes them, public information, which I'm going to go over a little bit more, legal, property insurance, and school board expenses. So these are what are the parts of your administrative budget. Salaries and benefits. Looking at some right sizing, just trying to look at what are our needs for there. We have some retirements and resignations in the support departments there as a support staff, looking at how we could possibly right size. You know, you don't want to cut things and then run yourself short and cause problems, but you don't want to, you know, overspend. So it's just trying to really figure out exactly what we need, and maybe we might be able to do some cuts there. Of course, though, there are increases. There's contractual increases in contracts, and then increases in benefits is always going to increase that. So we do expect overall, even if we cut a position like or rearrange, that we will have some increases there. Public information, relatively flat with some minor contractual increases. We're really looking at one of the things that the district that I'm trying to do is using BOCES. Anything we do through the Mid-Hudson RIC or any of the RICs or through BOCES is aidable. So we're going to get money back the following year. We're really looking at spending money that way. So things like some of the information services that we can do, if we, you know, doing printing through them helps us. Anything where we can get money back is where we're trying to really look at that. You know, if you're paying the same price and you're getting money back the following year in aid, we should do that. It's something we haven't maximized from what I can tell, and we're really just looking to maximize that. Okay. Legal fees, annual retainer will remain the same. We're budgeting a slight increase. We're trying to use our attorneys more for professional development for staff. Just if we know the right thing to do, we're less likely to do the wrong thing. So if we pay a little bit now to be trained, it could save the district money in the long run. We don't expect that to be a lot, but there will be a slight increase there. Property insurance is a big one. So it's property and liability, but it's really the property. Right now we use nicer. They're looking at, they're projecting, we haven't gotten numbers, a 20 to 24% increase. We've been working with BOCES and some of our component school districts to do an RFP for insurance brokers. Right now, there's 2 real players in the game. You have NYSER and Utica. Through some networking, actually heard of another district in the Hudson Valley that uses Liberty Mutual. We're also going to reach out to their broker to find out, you know, is there ways we could save money? But the important thing with insurance is you can pay less, but you need the coverage. So like, you know, we want to make sure whoever we go with is going to also be there for us. NYSER has been good, but you know, if we can save significant money and feel that we're in the best interest of protecting the district, we're going to do that. And it's been really great to work with a number of districts and BOCES to do this. So we're kind of working as a team, which gives us more insight because everybody at the table from our end brings a little bit of insight into something else. And it's great to actually start looking at working together more with our component districts. Not every district signed up for it because some of them are happy. They want to make changes. They don't want to make changes, but it's a bunch of us. So we're going to look to try to save money there. And that, you know, should hopefully save money in the long run. And we've talked about doing more joint RFPs in the future, you know, to strengthen numbers, you know, even though we're being billed separately, you know, using our knowledge. As I said, there's more questions than answers. You know, we're going to get the answers and make the best predictions. The answers are not going to be finalized, but you know, the budget they're trying to have an on-time budget for April 1st. That will help us a lot if we really have solid numbers from the state, because then we can finalize our numbers. The one thing I do want to say is school board expenses. We expect them to be flat. Thank you for not making us spend a lot of money. We don't expect to give you guys any contractual raises this year. But now we do appreciate that, and it's a minimal expense, but there is some expenses and we don't expect any changes there. All right. Any questions?
Why the property rate going up
So it's
so much?
So the meeting that I went to for NYSER, one of the things is it costs double to rebuild something now than it did. So if they've got to rebuild a building, it costs them double. They've also had a lot of exposure from some flooding, because they're looking at the state. They have to pull us all in together. Obviously, there's different factors, but they had some damage from some storms in different parts of the state. Some people are saying they may start not writing on some parts of the state. We're not in danger of that. But that's really what they're telling us is the cost to rebuild is double. To rebuild, if you want to build something today, then 3 years ago, it's double. Whether that's an actual number, but I don't know. When I go to Lowe's or Home Depot, I see it.
In reference to the health question, insurance, be cautious. There was a municipality that did change, and either a year or two, that insurance company was out of business, so they had to go back
For health, you said?
for health.
Yeah, now health, we're not changing. We're very happy with it. We're the only district in Sullivan County that uses night shift, and we took, minimal to no raises, and they're expecting some big number raises. And then there's other districts that are there's other component districts that are self-insure with a reinsurer. They're expecting big raises. We didn't get any. We got minimal to no raises. And I think we have, premium health insurance for a fair price. I think.
I know you went over it last time, but I asked you about fuel, the price of fuel. Are you negotiating that now, or?
Yeah, there's bids going out now for fuel, and that's getting fine.
Don't be in a hurry. I think it's going to be very reasonable dropping down.
Yeah, I think we will be paying less than we paid this year.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions? All right, thank you.
Thank you. Moving to item 6C is administrative presentations.
Good evening. Well, I'm just glad I did not have to follow the children. But again, we do want to say a special thank you to Miss Winter, Miss Menke, all the kids. I mean, they're really the reason we're here. I'll get into iReady in a minute, but the helper that they talked about, that's someone in the CDOS program, which Miss Eberly and Miss Hugler have started. So some of these programs that seem like an elementary school program or high school program are really starting to merge and kind of come together. So it's just really nice to see the community growing and older kids working with younger kids, different staff members getting a chance to help our little ones out. All right, so Ms. Long said that the last time she had this presentation, it was 3 hours long in her previous district. So I told her I will go for 3.5 hours. No, so we're going to just take an overlook of what iReady is. It's our brand new program. It's our diagnostic, but also instead of just a diagnostic, it allows our kids to kind of work on a customized path. And we're going to see the growth. And really, this growth is a 3-month window. It's our second diagnostic. We started kind of the end of September, getting our first one, and then we took it right after we got back from winter break. So we'll see how we did in 3 months. So one of our quotes is, when we invest in education, we invest in possibility. So possibility for educators to learn and grow, possibility for our kids to learn and grow. And there's different programs and ways we can help give our children the best opportunity to be proficient and gain their goals that they want in life. So iReady, just to review it, is a personalized program. We're using a K through 8 right now. It has a My Path, which is really from their diagnostic what the child needs, but the teachers can also go in and match with their teaching. So it gives some flexibility both in the classroom when the kids are working personally. iReady recommends 45 minutes a week in both ELA and math, so about 15 minutes a day to really start seeing some stretch growth. And we'll talk about and look at a couple examples of what some of our kids are doing and how some of our interventions are combined. So we're looking at overview. So this is the entire school. Diagnostic 1 was again at the end of September. And then when we got back from break, kind of that month of January, they did it again. So what you want to see is that the green bars going up and the red bars going down. So our elementary school, we saw almost a 10% gain in that mid to above grade level, which is fantastic. That middle group really grew 11%, really good trends. We're hoping to really see this continue. Math, a little less of a gain, but still significant. We just didn't start at the same point. What we really want to see is when we take our third one towards the end of May, beginning of June, and then compare that really to what the state exam is. Are they matching up really well? Our past screener was not a good predictor of, what they were going to get on the exam for the New York State 3 through 8. These we're hoping will give us some more timely information. We can do more direct interventions, really give kids what they need in the moment. Secondary school, their ELA went up 9%. We see the green jumping again, 11. Math, I'm just going to caveat here, our honor students do not take the diagnostic. This only goes through 8th grade curriculum, so our honors kids who are taking Algebra 1 are not represented in our math data. So we'll kind of go through grade levels. So you'll see the very end red is 2 or more grade levels below. In first grade, they're not really there. They don't have 2 grade levels to go. But we can see, especially in math, we had 0 kids in our first diagnostic at or above grade level. After 3 months of intense intervention with our teachers, we grew 15%. That's phenomenal in 3 months' time for our kids. Again, reading bumped up as well, about 7%. And then we'll just kind of go through the same thing. Second grade, not as great of a jump in math, but it had a bigger jump in ELA. So really, what we're going to do with this in grade level time is really take a look at our curriculum and dive into what do we see and where do we need to go, especially the rest of the year and next year. Third grade, again, we see some really good gains. ELA jumped up 9%. We have 7% in math to that really high tier level. But ELA, you could see we really shifted into that secondary green. We have a lot of kids that are starting to get there. Again, this is only 3 months worth of time. Fourth grade, again, we see some growth, not as big of a jump, but math, again, had a really big jump. So really, we have to see what are these groups doing and can we replicate it down and up for our kids. Fifth grade, again, about 10% in math, and we have another 8% in ELA, just at that top proficiency. So we are seeing kids move into those top tiers and less in that far behind. Part of that's with our intervention program. Part of that's with our teachers being more intentional on what they're doing because they know exactly what children need. Sixth grade, again, we had some nice jumps. Math, we have to really take a look at what is going on in that area to see if we can get them really to start moving from that yellow to our green area so we can get proficiency for our children. Seventh grade, again, we have some of our data here. We don't see as much movement. Part of that is the scheduling, I believe we're going to take a look at and really start to give the 7th and 8th grade some more dedicated MTSS time in their schedule to help focus on some of these. They have shorter blocks with the kids than the elementary ones. So naturally, we have to kind of fill in there and fill in with some of our other grade levels of what we can do to help support both 7th and 8th grade. As you can see, we have some stagnant areas there. Lighter green moved up a little bit. And now we're just going to take a look at some of our kids individually. So a 99 percentile student, what does this mean? So our top tier kids, are they growing? Are they able to exceed growth? So this student we pulled from 5th grade, the 200% is typical growth. So what typical growth is how much should a kid gain in a year? So they start here and they get a full year worth of gain. This student had gained 3 times what they would expect from her. Stretch growth is where you start closing the gap. So if you're a student that's behind, really stretch growth is a target. Instead of saying that year, you gain a year and more. So stretch growth is going to be targets as we discuss more and more with our teachers. Can we get there? And this student, as you can see, has met their stretch growth in 3 months. We're hoping to really see and help some of our high-end kids accelerate. And now we're going to take a look at some of our lower-end kids with our intervention and what are they doing. So 7th grade, we first real year of having intense AIS intervention. This is one of her students. I mean, she had almost 500% growth and almost 200% of her stretch growth. So this student gained 2 grade levels in 3 months. We're hoping to gain another 2 or 3. If you do that over a couple of years, that student is now on grade level. It's really being intentional on what we're doing, taking a look at what kids need, targeting it, supporting them, giving them encouragement, talking through how do you grow, looking at the lessons. I've actually seen this teacher teach and really go into small group. What kids are working on iReady, switch, but as they're going to iReady, they're really input into talking to the kids about the scores, giving them targets, coaching them up, and we are starting to see some real changes in that. 5th grade AIS student receiving support in math, got its typical growth already, and they've almost met their stretch growth. So that student who is far behind is closing that gap to getting to grade level. A student like this who's been in AIS for year after year, it may take them 2 or 3 years to catch up with their group if they're hitting their stretch growth over and over again. And that's what we want. Education, unfortunately, isn't like a light switch where we can just flip and get them onto grade level. It's a slow but steady progress, and this data and program shows us the progress that they're making and what our interventions are specifically for them. So we have one more training session. This is our 4th one. It'll be after Diagnostic 3 to kind of teach our teachers what it means. Where do we go from here? And then next year when we do our diagnostics, we're going to get a little deeper into what our teachers can do. We're going to get into what else the program has. It has a number of tools that give them specific interventions. If you have a class, and sometimes we have 99 percentile, we have some of the kids who need support. This will group and give you exactly what that kid or those groups should be working on based on your curriculum. That's kind of why some of our planning has to come in to give our teachers that time and give them the support. So we're really excited where this program will go in the next couple of years. Any questions?
So are our older kids still struggling due to the loss of education during COVID, do you think? Or is this something that we're catching now that we're going to be able to fix when they're in the younger grades?
It's probably a multitude of things. It could be some lost learning time. What are the gaps? Our last screener probably did not give us the best information to use. And then part of it is getting everyone to understand how to use this. So multiple areas. We're hoping to catch it. We really would like everyone by the time they're done with 3rd grade in a couple of years to be almost right on grade level or at grade level. Really kind of a goal we have internally to kind of work on getting our kids early to where they need to be so then we can continue to push them forward to excel. So it's a combination. It's not one or the other, but COVID with this group probably definitely hit, especially some of those foundational skills that build and build. If they have holes, it's hard to go back. It's hard for an 8th grade teacher to realize that they're missing a phonics piece without having data, because that's not something typically they would teach. So this is giving us some more information. Some of our teachers are doing some phonics approach now that they see they need to go back to maybe a 2nd grade skill that just was hard to tell without the right kind of data.
So a lot of times it's the teachers picking up on what's missing and then being able to have them go back and get more of the work they need.
Yeah, and it's tough. I mean, if you don't have the right tool and you're trying to do grade level curriculum and they give you certain standards and you're doing that and the kid may be struggling and you help outside to kind of get through. If we don't know the fundamental skill that they need, it's really hard to give them what they need. Sometimes it's a couple months, 3 months of intervention, we see massive growth. It's really a tool like this letting us know where a kid is and what they may.
I have a question. Are there any additional tools that we can provide to our faculty to assist them in finding any shortcomings that we can provide them to get these students up?
Program has a assessment called ERLA that gives us a lot of good data. We had a lot of conversations last year, especially with the elementary group of, so we have this core program. Is there something else you need? So this year we bought them Fly. It's a reading program, phonics program for K2 to be used in intervention 3-4, where they can go through, and it gives them a little more explicit diagnostic of that. Mr. Carbone and I will be meeting with the grade level teams to really talk about an assessment plan with different screeners such as Acadians, to kind of go through and dig a little deeper to really see what do our kids need. So then we give them the targeted support. We have brilliant kids. We just have to give them the right tools at the right time.
And what about our older students that are suffering because of COVID, where they fell behind? Is there something a tool that we can provide as a district to them, to those instructors, teachers?
There are other tools that we'll have to talk about. Really, one of our big things is with math, getting a robust AIS program doing. So Beverly and I are working through the schedule to try to make sure kids that need that extra help can get it. We're building in some TVCS time. So reading and science is a hard thing. So there's different things we could do, like maze, reread, telling. So a maze is where they do a passage but words are moved out with vocabulary on the side. That's specific for science. There's vocabulary strategies given higher in the process of kind of mapping that out and then talking to the grade levels during this kind of MTSS time built in. But there are some things that are not too arduous for teachers to do, but can have some real bang for our buck. Really working in retrieval practices. That's kind of like a spiral. I taught something today, we review tomorrow, but then a week or two from now, really bringing some practices into our play that really help us get into the science of learning a little more and get our kids to really understand what we're doing. So we're moving in those directions. We just can't jump all at once because we need our teachers to feel supported, and that takes time, and we do not want to overwhelm anyone with 900 new things. So we're working in our current system with adding new supports that are really going to help with our children.
Okay, I just want to make sure that our teachers have the tools that they need to feel comfortable in advance.
Yep, and we're trying to get their voice and input. So we also did a writing program. Writing program, the writing revolution. It's a big one. It's very transferable. We had a trainer come, especially for elementary school, to boost some of those. So we are listening to them, and we are trying to bring in what they say they feel they need, and then provide support with training.
Very good, thank you.
Class size. Generally, what's the size of the classes that we're talking about, student-wise?
Under 20, I believe. Mr. Carbone, we're looking today. Your groups are what, 17?
It's been turned off for a while.
Oh, I apologize. I did not realize. So about 17, roughly. We were looking at projections just this morning.
I know at one time there was a incentive to the districts financially if they kept it 17 and under. Is that still the same coming from the state? They did away with that. Phonics started again this year. How are you finding that going as opposed to whole language?
The U-Fly is so ARC has phonics in it. Our teachers felt it wasn't explicit enough or they didn't like the pattern. U-Fly we bought for them. It was a kind of a soft launch. We gave them the tools. We've had a trainer come in. She's been here about 20 days by the end of the year. So they like it. They've taken off. And Mr. Carbone's had a lot of laminating things go on because they're using the tools, but they're reusable. So phonics is a big piece. K2, U-Fly, the kindergarten teachers really asked for us to get for them. So we got the K2, provided training. So phonics is in full swing.
If you could put a number on that, what do you feel our kids are at and percentage-wise with English?
For the elementary school, I'm just looking at my numbers. It's about, in like the on-grade level or above, is about 50%. Our middle school is a little lower, about 30%. I mean, just by the and I'm using just the iReady data that it shows me.
Thank you.
I have a quick question. So you're finding that the data is more drilled down using this program than compared to the MAPS? Is it the MAPS
Yes.
program that we used in the past?
Yes. So MAPS, response theory, right? A child, you may get a score, but you maybe never have had a question in that domain. And then that had to link outside to IXL. So there was not always a great overlap. MAPS is very hard to dig deep down into and make your groups. It's really teacher driven. It's very time consuming, very arduous for a teacher to find out what your groups is. If we were pulled up an example here, you could see it will give me all my kids in the level, what I can do next. If I'm teaching a certain skill, I click that skill, it will group my children. It will give me examples to differentiate my instruction for small group. So I teach to my standard, then I do my small group, and it makes it for me. It gives me examples. I can then make other examples and really take a look at what they do, how are they progressing through formative assessment. So it's much more teacher friendly as we go through, and we're still learning as a district all the nuances it has. It is such a robust program, but it is much easier than MAPS. MAPS was not used regularly other than to get a percentile score. It's very hard to go down and dig into it. What a kid needs. So say we're looking at Frank, it's harder to navigate as opposed to now I can click and see everything about me everywhere I want to go and what I need. And it kind of gives me how I should do it based on skills. I'm in 4th grade and they think I need a 2nd grade skill, it will show that kind of first. So I can go back and get a little remediation. Hopefully it takes a week or 2 to kind of learn that skill so I can get back on to kind of grade level.
And the plan is to still do it 3 times a year. So you have like that baseline in the fall, and then you do it again later, more towards winter, and then you'll do it again in the spring.
Correct.
And then you'll just wait until the following school year and then do the same baseline, like
Right.
similar processes. Okay.
Anybody else? Thank you.
Okay, well, I get to say and do the other admin presentation. So
Okay.
welcome to our regular admin presentation. So though our snow day, so superintendent's conference day, we are trying to, there's a choice board. We're trying to give our teachers options with the PD committee and look at what can we do to give them some skills that they think they need or what they see as the best fit. We're working with Sullivan 180 to bring in some of their training. So on February 10th, we had Catch My Breath. We had an Arcan training. We had a QPR, which is a mental health training. iReady came back. That was right after the end of our 2nd diagnostic to kind of go through with our teachers. What does it mean? What does it say? What are your next steps? We had a DASA refresher. And then I think for the first time, we had a number of teachers volunteer to do PDs. We've had people go to different trainings and come back. So we had Christine Cox, Christine Grimm. We had Sarissa Giglio, Kat and John both did an E&L night. Melanie Menke did a Parent Square. Kristen Van Varick works on our new state standards for our living environment and earth science, because that is going to be a big shift in what that Regents looks like next year. Danny Cornish did the DASA training. Kevin Crudelli opened up and got people certified to use our weight room and cardio room. And Kim did some AI training with us. So just a wide variety, really utilizing some of our talent. So we're hopefully can maintain this kind of choice for people, because I think, it gives them an opportunity to really focus on some needs, and we can help select some options that we think are important for our district. So one of the cool things I was going to say, Sarissa Giglio did a thing about book creator. One of our 3rd grade teachers did it, just wanted to do a single page and kind of make a book, and her kids fell in love with it. So then they wrote a whole book, and now they're having a big family event. So this one little training has really kind of turned over, and it's now become a whole family event and the kids are writing. They're using the writing revolution that we gave them to help do the outline, to then write the book. They're talking about literary elements when you get invited in. I mean, it's fantastic to see, and I love to see that some of our trainings are being used right away and kids are successful with it. Okay. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
There we go. All right. Good evening, everyone. Sorry, I got to move this down a little. So I just wanted to give you an update where we are with the PPS office. We've started in with our annual review meetings. They're going very well. We are bringing student-centered discussions to the table to make well-rounded IEPs and 504s for the upcoming school year. It's a great time for us to collaborate with the families and the staff to support the student needs and what we offer here at Tri-Valley. We've identified students that are going to be declassified and transition to 504 plans. We really look at this a lot at the junior, senior level because IEPs sunset when a student exits their high school years here at Tri-Valley. And if they're going on to college, they would need their modifications and accommodations through a 504 plan. And then the last thing is we've been getting a lot of really good constructive feedback from parents as we sit in the meeting. So that's really helpful for us to make changes and look at things as we move forward. It gives us some food for thought. So very productive meetings this year that are definitely student-centered with a lot of the students coming to their own meetings. And that's all I have. Any questions?
Good evening, everyone. And so just a really quick update as far as our MTSS is going. We're continuing to build partnerships with a lot of our community bases. So most recently, we had some representatives from the county come into our administrative meeting. And from there, I think I was hand-selected to be the liaison to test out one of their new divisions within the county, a resource that they seem very proud of. They were very excited about to share with us. I was very skeptical about if it was going to work, but I'm happy to report that I did test one of their new departments that is within the county for adult protective services, which in fact impacts some of our high school students who are of adult age. And what this does, it's not in fact a naughty side of it, such as what some of the ideas are for child protective services, but this is actually a support. So within this division of the county, they actually reach out to some of our young adults. They help to support them with finding occupations, establishing themselves with a driver's license, identification, as well as starting them on the path of independence to be able to actually get their own residence, apartment, etc. This was something that was proven to work very well and successfully for some students from Monticello. But again, we were able to test it out for some of our seniors who are here, who are very eager to go to college. They're finishing up their senior year with honors, but they're just having a hard go at it. And we had these representatives in last week, and actually they will be in again tomorrow to meet with one of the students to be sure that we're setting them up for after they finish with their Tri-Valley education, that they have worked very hard to earn that high school diploma, that they will be able to move forward successfully thereafter. So we're continuing to build those partnerships. We had the opportunity to meet with our PTO. Last month, Mr. Carbone and I sat down and had a really intimate conversation with them about some of the things that we're seeing, including how the PTO could help to support our students who are starting to trend downwards with some of their attendance habits. So that was certainly a productive conversation. And our armed forces, as of recently, we've had some great recruits coming in. Luckily for me, my location of my office is right near the cafeteria along where some of those recruiters are stationed during the day. And some of our students have been really asking some great questions, and they've been giving them some really good feedback and support, and certainly supporting them with the different options that they could have after graduation. I would just like to do one quick advertisement. We did do an interest survey with our staff, because as Mr. Fantini and I have been really digging in through this MTSS process and really trying to figure out ways to address all of the needs of our students. We've realized, yes, we've exhausted all of our energy, and we did put out an interest survey to see which staff would be interested in joining us. Everybody's schedules are packed, and we understand that. We also understand that it's March, and everybody's kind of running out of steam until those spring flowers start to come up. But we did have approximately 30 staff members who responded positively and were interested in participating and joining this mission that we have. It was overwhelmingly exciting for us to be able to see that level of interest for this time of year. And we were very cautious about wanting to make sure that everyone's voice was going to be able to be heard. You know, it's one thing to have a lot of people get in a room, but it's a whole other thing to be able to have all of those opinions be heard and valued. So at this time, tomorrow, we're going to be kicking it off with our first group. We have divided all of those people that were interested in joining us into 2 separate sessions so that we can be sure that all of the stakeholders and everybody's opinions and views are heard. So we're going to be starting that tomorrow. The energy in that room is going to be ecstatic because what we're doing and what we're going to come out of there is all going to be what we're all here for, which is to support our students in every way. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. Just a quick update on the tech department. So the switch replacement project that I had presented on probably 4 or 5 months ago is almost complete. We have one closet remaining, and that's going to be completed during spring break. We've had a number of cybersecurity enhancements, not all ones that we were planning on in advance, unfortunately. We took some serious steps to improve our VPN security due to a attack that was going on over the course of a couple of months, and it kind of was building more and more steam and impacting our teachers' abilities to work. We were able to find a solution to that and ratchet that down to make that no longer an attack surface for anyone. We also took steps to improve protection for our staff and students against malicious ads on websites and YouTube. And we finished, actually, that last bullet point I should have updated. We actually finished the evaluation of a product which does data inventory and reports back on its exposure to the outside. And just on that point, I just want to do a little bit of bragging on the behalf of our school. When we did that, it reports back on all the different types of PII and different kinds of data that we're legally charged with protecting, and shows any areas where that data may be overexposed, where too many people within the organization have access to it, or where it may have been shared on the Google side out with the world. And one of the big metrics that's right on the dashboard of that is number of overexposed sensitive files. And when we did the analysis after fact, and I sat down with them and did the meeting, that number was 0. And the rep from the company was kind of blown away by that. And I asked him, I said, how many other districts have you seen that number with? And he said, that haven't been using our product for several years? None. So that goes to the security measures that we take in IT and making sure that the permissions are set correctly on everything. But it also, in large part, especially on the Google side, where it's so easy to share data, it speaks volumes about the responsibility that our teachers, that our staff take, the seriousness that they treat the sensitivity of our student data, and they're recognizing how important that is to make sure that that's protected. So I am so very proud of both my department and the school as a whole for that. Moving on, our upgrade of Active Directory is completed. Active Directory is kind of the accounts database that all of your logins, your accounts for computers and everything like that sits on. It's what most of a modern network really runs off of, and we finished a significant upgrade that we did in-house on this. Probably saved ourselves about $60,000 of money by doing it in-house ourselves with our expertise, as opposed to contracting with an outside company to do that for us. And we are also continuing just kind of an ongoing thing. A large part of what we do is just constantly being aware of what new threats are out there on really a daily basis. I start out my day with digging into the cybersecurity news and what new attacks are out there. And one of the things this week, actually just a couple days ago, there's a new strain of ransomware out there from the Akira ransomware group that they were unable to encrypt the organization's data because of the antivirus products that were on the computers. This strain of ransomware hopped over to the security cameras because they run another operating system that it could use, and it used the security cameras to encrypt the entire organization's data. So whereas most organizations, they install things like security cameras and those types of devices and never update them over the entire lifetime, we update those every single year during the summer. It's a major project. It's not something that we normally do during the school year, but because of this particular attack out in the wild right now, it's something now my department's going to be over the next several weeks going through and updating, making sure all of the firmware and the protections against this are in place on every single security camera through the organization. So these are kind of the unplanned things that we never know from day to day what, that we're going to be doing. And suddenly we find ourselves with a brand new project that has some urgency to it. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good evening. I almost said good morning. I just want to give a huge shout out to the secondary school. We've had so many exciting things going on in our building, outside of our buildings, and we've all been on this marathon and all together. So I'm so thankful for our staff and our students. This morning, it was so great to see. We had our basketball team last night, and they were all in the halls, and they were all smiling and happy. So it's just awesome to see their stamina and how they're moving and functioning, and it's keeping us all going. So I just wanted to shout that out. Some other exciting things that are going on. We have our honor roll Q2. We had 233 students hit our honor roll marks. We had 50 students on our principal roll, 115 on our high honor roll, and 68 students on our honor roll. And this is all while athletics are going on and plays are going on and our musical performances are going on. So this is a huge testament to our staff, to our students, and just everything that we're doing in our school. As we're looking at this, we're moving on to next year already and looking into 25-26 school year. We are taking apart our course catalog, our curriculum coordinators. We've been meeting individually. We've been meeting as groups. They've been meeting with their teams and really going through what courses our students are interested in, what they're excited to teach, and giving them options to really source their creativity. And we've offered some new courses this year. We're offering even more new courses next year. And in a small school like ours, it's really fantastic to see that we're able to do that. Along with that, we've also been partnering more with SUNY Sullivan. We had the president of the college come and visit us with a couple of reps. Ms. Long and myself walked around the school. They saw our school. We talked about some of the challenges that we're seeing and some of the exciting things that we're seeing. And we're able to really bridge some gaps and some questions that we had around tuition and how we can really bridge that. So with that, we also have been talking with our staff who are insanely just always out there and wanting to just do the best for our students and offering more courses. So they are proposing for next year alone, just adding 2 more college courses. And we're really on this path of just offering so much for our students. So that partnership is going to continue to grow. Our 10th graders were able to go and tour our CTE program at BOCES. They have been interested in all these different programs, so they were able to go out there and bus out there. We've also started some shadowing, so some individual programs that they were interested in when they went and toured. Now they're shadowing and getting to experience a day of that program, which is huge. So that's been really exciting to see. The kids are getting excited and they're able to decide kind of what their pathway might be for next year and the years coming forward and where their career might go. So awesome things going on, so many to shout out, but I just want to thank everybody for sticking with us, and our students are just, they're pushing through. So thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Good evening. February, we got through February. A lot of snow, ice, wind. It was a wonderful month to celebrate a lot of different things. We got through our 100th day of school. I hope you saw some of the pictures of our little ones dressed up like, well, I guess other little ones. We had our Valentine's Day. Elementary school Valentine's Days are also full of love and giving. It's a really special time. A couple of weeks ago, right after Valentine's Day, we were able to celebrate our honor roll and high honor roll and principal award students. We had 42 honor roll students, 22 high honor roll students, and 14 principals honor roll students. That was 46% of our 4th, 5th, and 6th grade students. So it was a fantastic job from them, again, dedicating themselves to their academic progress. And we're hoping to see those numbers stay the same, maybe even grow a little bit in the 3rd quarter, which sometimes tends to be the most challenging quarter of the school year.
Another highlight in February was the pre-K fashion show. Pre-K finished their fashion unit. And so for the end, they got together in the gym. They got to strut their stuff on the red carpet. So every student got to walk to the end. Parents were invited to come in. And then they had just had a wonderful dance party. It was on Valentine's Day. So the kids were dressed to the nines and they just had a wonderful morning with their parents.
And lastly, February is National Heart Month. We had a representative from the American Heart Association teleconference into one of our faculty meetings and was able to share with the entire elementary faculty the importance of heart awareness and what the program was going to do for the phys ed classes. Coach Connolly, Coach Wright, and Miss Gray were able to adopt the lessons that the American Heart Association gave us and even design their own to have students really understand the importance of physical fitness, diet, and nutrition. I was in the phys ed room, the gymnasium, and I was watching first grade run to pick up different types of food and bring them back to their plates, and then talk to their teachers about why they made the choices that they made in their diet and nutrition. Reset the plates and do it all over again. So it's been a really fun month. Was a really fun month. Kids got a lot out of it, and they were able to work on their heart challenges as well. Any questions? Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, moving to item number 7 is the superintendent's report from Erin Long.
Good evening, everyone. I want to give a thank you to the 3D Club and Miss Winters and Miss Menke for coming tonight. That was really fun for us, and we're excited the kids are in such engaging programs and exploring all the design that's out there for our students. Also, a shout out to the winter athletes. It has been one heck of a season. Our kids have been performing at their top level. As spectators, I think we've been very excited to be at these games and track meets and cheerleading events and getting our kids ready to go. We wish the best to our indoor track students as they head to their national competitions this weekend. Tuesday night was our Music in Our Schools concert. It was a beautiful performance by all of our students, and our music department really put together a fantastic show. Monday night, I was a part of the regionalization meeting with our component districts from Sullivan BOCES. We are in the process of working on the plan that has to be submitted to the state by April 1st. BOCES will be submitting that. We had some really good conversations about opportunities to combine some of our programs. We talked about virtual learning. Now we've learned so much from COVID. Is there a possibility that we can offer some opportunities to each other and our other schools around? So we meet again next week, and then probably one more convening, and then we'll be putting the plan together. Rich, Frank, and I went to an Ulster County IDA meeting last week. We were invited after Rich had spoken to the lady from the IDA. It was really geared around the pilots that are happening in Ulster County, but we also felt it was important that because Tri-Valley does have taxpayers in Ulster County and students that live in Ulster County, it's time for us to tap into the resources they offer. So one of the things we learned was a lot about the jobs and workforce that is going on in Ulster County, and we can bring that back to Tanya and to Amanda for our CDOS program and our work-based learning, so our students may be able to branch out more to Ulster County. It was a really productive meeting. We learned a lot. Recently, I've been working with a consultant from Yonder. Yonder is one of those companies that are selling the cell phone bags. He will be joining our administrative meeting next week to share with everyone some of the things they do. It's not just a bag that locks phones. They have an entire implementation program from getting the initiative off the ground with communication with students and families. It also offers professional development for our teachers, and it really approaches this cell phone ban or this non-personal use initiative with an MTSS lens that this is going to be a tier 1 approach. We're going to be training all of us to take a step away from our phones and our students to step away from their phones during the day. But it's a really comprehensive plan, and it offers a behavior matrix for us to look at. We can add it to our code of conduct, but it really approaches it as not punitive to start. It really helps kids understand the purpose behind the cell phones going away. So we are pretty excited. We know the governor's proposing about $13 million to help with the cost of these purchase of the bags, and so we're anxious to see what her next steps will be as well. We've received a few foils in the last few days, but the foil I'll report on tonight we received on February 12th from Janet Diamond for all documents pertaining to conferences or other professional development attended by any employee in the district. including registration fees, hotel costs, mileage, and meal reimbursements for the 24-25 school year. To date, since July 1, we've received a total of 34 FOILs and 7 appeals for a total of 44. The attorney fees to help us process these is approximately $7,477.50. The estimated time it has taken the business office and the district office to search, prepare, and process these FOILs is about 390 office hours, which translates to 48, almost 49 days, which is about 7 weeks of our work that we have dedicated to addressing these FOILs. Thank you.
Thank you. Moving to item number 8 is items the board would like pulled from tonight's consent agenda. Anybody?
Keith, I don't really have wanted to pull one, but I have some questions on it that is in general.
You have to pull it off.
Number 11, C, D, and E. It's just simple questions.
Number 11,
And number 11, the contract.
which the
C,
11 has,
D, and E.
It's the amended reports.
Yeah, the amended treasurer's report.
oh,
And the one with BOCES. So that would be probably B
so B,
or A.
A,
Yeah.
that's it?
Yeah. I mean,
A,
5
B,
seconds.
D, E. Okay. All right, we will do the consent agenda and then we'll address those 4, okay?
Keith? Personnel, I don't know if there's a spelling error that's making me think it's a different name. I guess we'll have to pull it for me to ask.
Number 13, let's see, is that a 1? It's just 13.
Yeah,
A.
13A.
Okay. Anything else? Okay. So we'll move to item 9, consent agenda. And can I have a motion to accept resolution to approve the entire consent agenda with the exception of 11A, B, D, and E, and 13A.
I will need a
What's that?
I will need a hand vote for that.
Okay. So we'll do that by hand. This vote will be done by hand vote. Okay. So can I have a motion? Motion by Kerry. Second by Tim. Please proceed to vote by hand. All those in favor? That is unanimous. Okay. So we'll do number 11.
8.
Okay, so do you want to, is the question the same for each one of them? Or
No.
it's a
one
different
simple
question for each?
Just one simple, yes.
So the question applies to all 4 of them?
There's a question on, it's easier to explain it and do it instead of telling you what I want.
What I'm trying to say is, do I need to do 4 different votes? What is your question?
You can do what you want. It's simple. It's just a question on do
But is
whatever
the
you want.
question different for each one?
Absolutely.
So we got to do them separately. Okay. All right, we'll take 11A.
Okay, that's a reference to the BOCES contract.
Hold on. We got to do a motion and a second to open it up for conversation. Okay, so we're going to start with 11A. Can I have a motion to approve the January 2025 Sullivan BOCES contract invoice. Motion. Motion by Pat, second by Tim. You're on.
Number 512.490. What exactly is that? You want me to read it?
So that, you're talking about the diversity, equity, inclusion, right?
XC, correct.
Yes. So this fall at our conference day, we had a person come from Fulton County BOCES to do an administrative training around DASA. So they met with us while our teachers were engaged in other professional development. She was here for the day. It was the day we brought folks in from other school districts that did the DASA training to its mandatory. It was billed under DEI. So Rich called right away and said, we didn't do DEI, but that's the way it's billed through BOCES. So good question.
That's why I asked.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
You want to vote on that one?
Okay, so anybody else? Okay, so we'll take a hand vote on this item. All those in favor? It is unanimous. Okay. We'll move to 11B. We need a motion to accept the approval of the DCMO BOCES Final Services Commitment Form FY 2025. Motion. Tammy? Second by Travis?
Yes.
You're on.
No, the next one is the one I was interested.
This is B.
I'm looking at C. I don't care about B.
Oh, not B.
Correct.
Okay. What did I say the first time? B?
Yeah, I had B.
Okay, so we'll have to switch that from B to C.
A.
So B is approved. We're really looking at C. My error. Sorry. Okay, so 11C, approval July 2024 amended treasurer's report. Motion? Motion by Tammy. Second by Travis. Go ahead.
There's a number of these. Why are we getting amended? What was the purpose for that? Because we did approve these, so I didn't see any disparities. You know, I really didn't have the last ones to look at. So what are we looking at here? What happened? Why do we have to go over it again?
So on trying to work on fixing some treasurer report, on working on reconciling treasurer reports, there was a discrepancy basically of checks, without getting too into it, checks that weren't cashed. Like we wrote checks to people out that weren't cashed, that weren't recorded properly. And by doing that, it made the July treasury report incorrect, which we caught. But when you fix that, it steamrolls. If you fix July, then it changes August, changes September. So that's where we found a mistake. So we had checks that were written to different things that were never cashed, which is a pretty common issue, but they weren't recorded properly.
So in other words, the financially was all the same.
Essentially, I mean, there's going to be that tweak in their number there, but the financials aren't really changing. This was money that was already, debited, but it was never cashed. So we had to reach out to some people and say, hey, cash, we have to cut you new checks.
Clerical.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Well, I don't know if I'm speaking out of turn, because that rolls to everything.
Specifically 8/31/24. Just a simple question. Your elementary teacher's aide, K through 3, the appropriation was $447,000. For SS teacher's aide in 7 through 12 was only $144,000. Why such a disparity between, K through 3 is a lot less than 7 through 12, and it goes on to the similar as K through on sub-teacher's aid and sub-teacher's aid on K through 3 and 7 through 12. So in one, you're running in the red, but I just wondered why, do we need more aides in the elementary just for K through 3, or what's the...
So there's a number of factors. So a lot of times, so aides have different purposes. We have more aides in the lunchroom than teachers because of scheduling. Also in our K and 1 classrooms, there's aides. The pre-K are required to have aides. So there's full-time aides in those positions. And then also on the students with special needs, on the special ed side, it's more often, it's not always, but it's more often that there's going to be aides in there. In the secondary school, the majority of the aides are more working with the special ed population. We have aides working across all the populations in the elementary.
I understand that, but my question is in 8/31/24, we're already minus, and it's the beginning of the new school year. I just raise it for financial reasons. That's all.
No, I understand. So this is something that we are working on. There are a lot, and it's something you'll see fixed as there were a lot of aides that were placed in categories, their salaries. So every person is coded that were coded incorrectly or not checked of where they should be. And that's something that was, I don't want to pass the buck. It was something before that I was there, but it's something that we are working on fixing. So the amount of total money ends up not being, significantly different, but there are people who are coded incorrectly.
So the problem exists from the 23-24 year?
Correct.
And we're trying to fix it in 24-25?
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Anybody else?
Thank you.
Okay, so we'll do a hand vote on 11C. All in favor? Unanimous. Okay, moving to 11D. Approval August 2024 amended treasurer's report. Motion? Motion by Kerry. Second by Rose. You got it. Question?
It was a carryover, that question from the other ones.
You
Why?
gotta do it, but you gotta do it. You didn't say that.
It was just a reason why why are we doing them now? That was the
Do
question.
each one independent.
That's
So,
fine.
Okay, all in favor? It's unanimous. Moving to item number 11E, approval September 2024 amended treasurer's report. Can I have a motion? Tammy? Second by Travis. Any discussion?
Same reason why we did it that way. That's all.
Hand vote, please. As unanimous.
Thank you.
Okay.
So simple.
All right, moving to item number 14 is board committee reports. We don't have anything for this. Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. You're right. Personnel, 13A. Motion to accept the consent agenda personnel, 13A. Motion by Tammy. Second by Nicole. Go ahead, Rose.
Under miscellaneous appointments, it says Taylor Irwin. It should be Tyler. Okay. Just wanted to confirm that. Thank you.
Okay, all in favor vote? That's unanimous. Okay, now we'll move to board, item 14 is board committee reports. We don't have anything for this meeting. Then we move to item 15 is old business. And we have an information, discussion, and an action. The academic calendar, it's a proposed academic calendar has been amended. What did we do, add a snow day? Is that?
We had a conference day built on Friday, February 13th, and we took that away. And we added and kept an extended weekend for Memorial Day. So that was the additional day that we needed.
Okay, we have a motion to accept that. Motion by Tim,
Second.
second by Nicole. Any discussion for anyone? What's that?
If I may, Aaron, these days are guaranteed.
Which ones?
All of them.
Oh, you know, we might have to look at this one more time, George. I've only counted these numbers probably 30 times.
One more time. Good luck.
Always subject to change.
Always.
Please proceed to vote.
Aye.
Should be online, except for George. That is unanimous. Be it resolved that upon the recommendation of the superintendent of schools, the Board of Education approves the amendment to the 2025-2026 academic calendar as attached to the public portion of the agenda. Moving to item number 16 is public comment session for items that are not on tonight's agenda. And we have one person signed up, Mr. Mike Mingo. Welcome. You might have to turn that microphone on.
Hi, I'm going to try to make this quick. Is it working? It's working. I got to get nice and close.
Yeah.
I'll make this quick because you guys look like you're having fun tonight. So I'm here because of sport, wrestling, and transportation with that sport. My son, John, participates in it. And first thing I want to say is thank you for hiring a great coach for that sport. I know that's a tough one, and it's a hard sport to watch. But it started late. And with that, they have to have so many matches in, and it actually is weigh-ins. And obviously with the snow and stuff, cancellations, whatever, rescheduling. One of the places they were supposed to go was a tournament in Guilderland. Last year, my son came in third, second year of doing it as a freshman, which is pretty impressive. We were looking forward for him to do that. And he got up nice and early in the morning, went to the school. There was no bus, nothing. Coach was very upset, apologized, came back at 6 o'clock in the morning, and they're not making it up there because they would never make the weigh-ins. As the season finally finished up, they had 5 weigh-ins. They needed 6 to go to sectionals. So they didn't go to sectionals by 1 weigh-in. That's a shame. That means he's missed 2 opportunities to do something that's pretty impressive. I personally think it's the busing you got to look at. I know I ran All County last weekend, and I know this is not anything with Tri-Valley or it's another district with another district. We were helping out another district because they didn't have busing to get them there, and it's the same bus company. And we had to house them 2 hours early before the county festival started. That's not really fair to the kids. They're going to be there for a long weekend, and then they had to be there 2 extra hours early doing nothing. So I hope you guys look into that. I know last year we had the same issues. There was no buses to get them to practice. I made some phone calls. We got that solved, but there was no bus taking them home. So it was between my wife and I trying to figure out who's going to get them on the way back. And sometimes that's very difficult because if you don't know me, I'm a teacher too, and I have night commitments and whatever else that I'm running around trying to get to. So we really definitely need to look into that. And the same thing with the spring golf. He had golf last year. It was the same issue, running back and forth, trying to get him there, or he doesn't go to practice and there's no bus for him. So I appreciate your time. I'll keep it short. Thank you. And hopefully we'll look into that problem. Have a good night.
Thank you. Thank you, Mike.
You know, if I may, I understand that someone else also raised a concern with that. You know, these athletes work hard. Who's responsible for that? To take care of them, to make sure that they get to the places they're supposed to get on time. Safety is number one, of course. But, you know, when we merge with another district, there must be certain rules that has to be followed. Now, look, we're talking about our students here, our athletes, not a company. These kids really could have went farther than what they did. And we're at fault. We are at fault. Well, we must get a hold of this. If it's happening more often than not, then we really need to look at it. But we provide financing for them. How much did that district cost us? And they didn't even get to where they needed to go, that program. The thing of it is, it's sad because it happened to these kids that really worked hard all year. You know, we had something like this years ago with a student that was supposedly homeschooled, but he wasn't, and the team lost the trophy. But it wasn't the kids that did it. It was adults. So I know this time it is not on us, but somebody needs to be held accountable. And when we sign a contract with this, whoever is supposed to be taking our kids' places, there should be some liability and some responsibility. So please look into it, because it's these are our kids. And somebody don't stand up for them, who will? And I will stand up for them. But thank you for listening to me.
Okay, moving to item number 17 is announcements, reminders, and upcoming events. I just wanted to bring up that we're going to have the dinner meeting here for the Sullivan County School Boards Association on March 24th, 5:30 p.m. I hope everybody decides that they can try to make it. There should be a flyer at everybody's spot. And reach out to the clerk if you haven't already, okay? Anybody else have anything? Okay. We'll move to item number 18 is new business. We have one item. It's the establishment of an extracurricular account for the chess club. It is an action. Can I have a motion to accept the establishment of an extracurricular account for the chess club?
Motion.
Motion by Rose. Second by Tim. Any discussion? Please proceed to vote.
Aye.
As unanimous, thank you. Be it resolved that upon the recommendation of the Superintendent of Schools, the Board of Education at its March 13, 2025 meeting approves the establishment of an additional extracurricular classroom account for the chess club for fundraising purposes. Moving to item number 19 is board comment session. So we'll go around the room. George?
Go over there, please.
Rose?
I just want to say that I am really proud right now to be part of our community and seeing how amazing everyone has been at showing up for our kids at athletic events and theater shows. And I just found out we have a play coming up soon. What's the date on that?
April 4th and 5th. Yeah.
All right, so hopefully we see the theater packed again for that. It's really amazing to see everyone coming out and traveling to go to games and really just support our students who I know appreciate seeing everyone there. The only thing I did want to ask, I know we've made a few changes with board meeting dates. I just want to make sure, is our website up to date on those, just for my own scheduling purposes?
They should be, but I will triple check that.
Okay, thank you.
Special thanks to the 3D Club for letting us play a little bit today. That was a lot of fun. Also wanted to recognize Jenna Carmody for scoring her 1,000th basket last night. I wish I could have been there. Didn't happen though, but she's a great kid and she deserves all the recognition for that. That is all I have. Thank you.
Tim?
Mr. Mango has a legitimate concern. I mean, if a kid's wrestling and we can't get a bus or a van or something to get them to compete, that's on us as a district. That's pretty embarrassing. I know I can tell you as a board member, I feel pretty embarrassed about that. On a more positive note, the send off that was given to the varsity girls the other day, that was something I haven't seen at our school. There was, I mean, literally hundreds of kids outside, like jumping up and down, waving signs, really top notch class act.
And then a quick shout out to Mr. Kloss, who heads the girls varsity team. He is a throwback coach. He's a gem, a classic. He gets the best out of those kids. He took them to a different level. So thank you to him. And lastly, I helped referee a cage ball tournament today, which was a fundraiser held by a student for Honor Society. Fantastic. Raised a bunch of money to buy sports equipment for the sports closet. Cage ball, for those that don't know, is volleyball, but without athletics. We've created this sport here in Tri-Valley. So the kids had a great time, and staff were coaching them up, all volunteering your time. So thank you.
Thank you.
I'm not going to reiterate everything that you've already said, but I want to say thank you to TVTA for the meal today. I also want to thank you for that inspirational video that went out at the beginning of February. I don't think we mentioned it at the last board meeting, but Erin had circulated it to us on a Friday, and she's like, "Get your tissues ready." And I'm like, "What kind of tissues?" Unbelievable. I was completely moved, and everyone that I shared that with was equally as moved as I was, and they were not even Tri-Valley residents or our community. So well done. The reaction of the students, I think, is what just kind of blew me away, because they were genuinely surprised. And when you thank them for coming to school and just being who they are, that's why you do what you do. And I appreciate you all. Again, thank you for showing up. This has been a crazy busy week this week between all county, our music festival. We had also the girls varsity send off, and our administration showed up, and you showed up very proud and very loud once you get those pom-poms circulating throughout the community. So thank you for that. Dr. Seuss readathon highlight on my Monday to see those UPK students, how excited they are to see a stranger come read to them. It was really, really wonderful. Also, to see that the theater filled this past week and to have like parking issues like we generally never have was pretty phenomenal. I have not seen that theater that filled in years for a music in our schools month. In the winter, it was not really well attended. I was a little disappointed with our community, but our community did show up. And our music department really did a phenomenal job. The finale with 4th through 12th grade was really fantastic. And just I think those kids working together was pretty remarkable. And then the last thing I have to say is, watching these varsity girls, and I'm a parent of a senior. The season was pretty phenomenal. They had to move up in a class that nobody gave them any kind of idea that they were going to be champions, and then to pull it out it's pretty remarkable for a small group of students, student athletes. Our bench is not deep. Mr. Kloss and Tim and Skylar, they have like 9-10 kids that are sitting on that bench. All these other schools, they have a very large number of athletes that participate. So that speaks volumes. And for Jenna Carmody, what an outstanding way to end her senior year last night, hitting that 1,000th point. Would have been great if it would have been here, but to end your season with 1,000 points is pretty remarkable, which just means that we really need to pay attention into our feeder programs, our Bear Cub basketball program, our youth soccer program, our football programs. As a community, we really need to be involved, because if we're not having these feeder programs, we are not going to have students competing on the level that they are right now. So COVID kind of did a number on us, and I hate using COVID as an excuse for everything, but we really need, as a community and as parents, get our kids involved in these sports and these extracurricular activities. The kids will want to come to school, which will help attendance, and that's all I have to say. But to see our school enthusiastic and have these little guys at these games was pretty remarkable. And as an alumni, it brought back some really great memories of our student section. And the way that they supported us down in Mount St. Mary's. So thank you. I know you're all exhausted, so I appreciate you.
Thank you.
I'm not going to repeat all the accolades that are going around tonight, but I do echo them. I actually would like to just touch on the Model United Nations Club tonight. They had a very long day. They competed in New York City against 5,000 other high school teams across the United States. They also listened to former President Biden speak today. And I think it was just such an amazing experience for our students. And I'd like to ask Aaron to see if you could have the advisor come to one of our meetings. And
I'd like to have the whole UN team. They're going to be competing in at Yale in a few weeks. And after that, Lisa said she would bring the team in to talk about what they've learned and what they do.
thank you. I just think it's amazing that they were able to listen to a president give a speech. It's like a big deal.
All right, I'm almost there. Hey, Tri-Valley, how are you? I'll be very, very short. Great 3D presentation. I can't wait to get it home, put it in the sun. Also, just a special shout out to the law enforcement, fire, and EMS that took time throughout your day to give a perfect, I wish I could have been there, but it was a perfect send-off. I did see some video clips of it. Good job, Tri-Valley. Really appreciate it. And last, food was great. Thank you so much for that.
So we talk about our students, right, their education. We talk about them being great athletes. But what I realized this week is they're not just great students. They're not just great athletes. They're great role models. I watched my 4th grade daughter, I'll get closer. I watched my 4th grade daughter stand in front of all the older children and sing at this chorus concert. And she had 200 kids standing behind her that were just great role models. Then last night, we had the privilege of attending the girls' game where my daughter also got to witness all of these girls on the court being great role models. It was an aggressive game, right? There was a lot of physical contact. I witnessed so many of them help each other up off the floor. I watched one of them, I don't remember who it was, catch their teammate by the back of the head so she didn't hit her head. I just have to commend them on being such great role models for the next generation that's coming through. I'm over the moon impressed by them. And this Bears breaking news is my favorite thing that our district does. I read it, I love it, it's incredible.
Really can't say enough about what the great things that's really happened here at Tri-Valley in the last number of years that I've been here. And if I start, I probably leave something out, but we should be proud, very proud of everything that's happening here, right from the athletes right on down to every club and academics as well. So we really need to be proud of Tri-Valley and we're in the direction it's going. And I thank you for allowing me to be part of this board. Thank you.
Thank you. TVTA, great job. The dinner, much appreciated. School board members who are up for re-election, you must have to pick up your school board petitions. They could be picked up from March 10th through 4/21. They're due back, and the ballots are drawn on 4/22. That's all I have. Moving to item 20 is adjournment. It's an action. Motion by Tammy. Second by Kerry. Please proceed to vote.
Aye.
It's unanimous. Thank you. It is 9:48 p.m.
Tim, that was not our mistake.